Where's my mask? Eva! Short one tonight. Huh? I'm all back to normal-ish. Just like that a little bit, but exciting. Exciting times in the kingdom. And hopefully I will survive. Eva!
Good morning, Diz.
How are you?
Tired. About to go
Yeah,
to bed. I want
I
to
hear
sleep.
you. Say, you don't happen to know where my mask is, do you?
No, do you know where mine is?
No. I didn't leave it on the bus stop. I didn't leave it in the mail. I didn't
Are you
leave it at
sure? It
church.
might have got lost in the mail. You never
I
know.
didn't leave it in the pail.
Did you send it off to anybody?
Well, no, everybody I sent masks to got theirs.
Yeah, I got the mask you sent me.
Because I made Kennedy a custom one. You got one. Sarah and Stacy and Aunt.
I know, but I got a couple masks coming that I never got. It's been like a year and a half though, so I given up.
Oh yeah, got scammed at that point. Because otherwise, I mean, fraud, whatever you want to call it, like it would have shown up.
Oh well, fuck it.
Unless somebody stole it, they stole
No,
your
I don't
mail.
think anyone stole it.
Yeah, I'd be crazy stealing that.
It's
Stealing
it's
mail
one
itself.
thing to take $5 from me. It's another thing to take $5 from everybody in your sector and then not give anyone masks.
Yeah, that's cracky.
Someone's
Crackhead
wondering
shit.
where my mask is. That's cool. I didn't know you were looking for a mask too.
What up, man?
Hey, Aunt. Yeah, potato, potato, whatever the fuck. I don't give a fuck.
Potato, corn.
Yeah, doesn't matter. They're just masks, right? Nobody wears them anyway.
Unless you have to. But I'm bending the rules. They haven't said shit to me yet about it.
Shit, I haven't worn my mask for like 2 weeks at work. No one said shit.
Yeah, but
Except for the
they've
mask
got a
leak
lot of
girls. The new
Karens.
girls just started.
We got a lot of Karens at work. But even the
Yeah,
Karens are starting to get fed up and they're not saying shit anymore.
Yeah, the one girl goes, just put it on your chin. Just put it on your chin. At least you're wearing it.
Nah, I'm either gonna wear it the way it's supposed to be worn, or I'm not gonna wear it at all. What you doing, man?
I told her, I go, make me put one on. That's what I told her the other day. She's all, huh? I'm all, yeah. Are you gonna make me? She got all scared and left. Hey, hey, Aunt.
I'd be like, I'd like to see him try. Like, what are you gonna do? Fucking hold me down and put that shit on me? And then what? You gonna let me get up? What do you think I'm gonna do after you fucking pin me down and put it? You think I'm gonna let that shit slide? Or are you gonna fucking hold me down and shoot some shit, mom? You think that's gonna fucking fly?
This girl can't pin me down. She's got like that. She used to do meth syndrome, and her
She's
arms
hooky
kick
doky.
and her leg. Yeah, yeah. Her legs kick, her arms kick out of control. It's like, fuck you, make me put one on, you fucking bitch.
I feel like
I'm
I'm on a
so
boat
mad.
at sea. So
Make me
here's what
put
you're
my
thinking,
mask
Tom.
on.
Once
Yeah,
you got
they do that rock away. They kind of
my
like.
uncle does that shit, he'll just be sitting there like his leg fucking kicks up. And he'll be trying to talk to a customer, and I'll be like, "Yo, let me talk to him." No, I got this. I got this. It's like, "Yo, are you about to sprint? Like, what's going on? Are you a fucking thoroughbred? What is that? You want some carrots? You're tapping your paw? Come on, like, we're trying to get money out of these people, and you look like a fucking crackhead. Quit
He
your
looks like
fucking
you.
oh, ridiculous, dude. I would tell him like, here, go get shit at 7-Eleven, so
This
that way I could
girl
go
says,
down over and bid the job.
this lady says she used to cook it and she used to do it, but she don't do it anymore. But damn, she must have done it a lot because she's fucking sprung.
I would think you had to have a stroke to like have permanent fucking twitches and shit, muscle damage, neuron damage,
Or have to do it for a long time, huh?
or you're smoking like the worst of the worst. You're like smoking some.
Oh, she was
Oh,
cooking it.
that makes sense. You always hear those people like, "Yo, man, just let me get like $1.50." And I'm thinking, where are you like? You're gonna steamroll all this money and get a crack rock at the end of the night, or somebody that'll give you $1.50 worth of crack, or you got 18 bucks and you're almost at that 20 rock. Like, what's the scenario?
No, I think she just cooked too much in her fucking bathroom and she's fucking high as a kite, like permanently.
Yeah,
I
if you just
really
cook
think
in the
so,
house,
but there's
she
no way
probably
she couldn't be
right.
doing it still.
I wouldn't see wanting to when you're old. Like, what the hell do you want to be awake all the time for? So you'll just know the exact second you die? Like every time I see Joel and he's like just even a little bit, the little bit he gets keyed up, I'm just like, what are you really going for? Like, like you'd do better off getting that sleep and resting and recovering and letting your body heal up, and then you'll have extra years to live versus a couple extra hours that day.
Yeah, maybe she's bored. She claims her husband is poisoning her too. It's another thing she keeps saying. He's poisoned me with mercury for tons of years, and I'm gonna prove it. And I'm like, whoa.
You'd already be dead. That shit builds up in your body. It's not, you would notice like mercury poisoning, you go crazy. Like the Mad Hatter, it was because the mercurochrome that's in the fucking hat glue back in the day. It would soak into their head and it would soak into their skin when they're making the hats. That's why they were the Mad Hatter. They're all mercurochrome is what they call it.
Yeah, she's been being poisoned for years with mercury, apparently. Dude, she's got all kinds of stories. She's a trip.
Maybe it's Maybelline.
Oh well.
Oh, you've heard the shit I recorded out in front of the store. There's some crazy people. They've been getting crazy lately, but they're not like acting out and violent crazy. They're just like the jabbering wackadoo type where they want to tell you stories. yo, you just don't get it because it's like I'm Jesus and I'm God, but I'm also the devil. And like you're the coolest guy I know because I read your name tag. And it's like I can't even think about it. I'll just be sitting there like trying to
No,
sonically block every part of it.
I understand. I'm supposedly she's gonna help me get further in the company because she cares so much about me. She's only been there for a couple weeks, but she
You
loves
should,
me and I'm her sister, and she's gonna get me further in the company. And
you
she's
should be
telling me
like,
to
yeah,
go
you are,
quit
because
at
I'm going
this
to
point.
step on you to get up to that next rung of the ladder.
Yeah, she calls the boss any chance she can get. I'm like,
I
I
would
got
light
it
her up.
taken care of. We don't need to call
Mhm.
him. And she, next thing I know, she's outside talking to him. I'm like, I told you like to leave him alone, like it's his day off. But she don't want to.
No, that's a
She goes, well,
violation of
you're not
privacy in
texting
most
him, and
cases.
you shouldn't text him. You should call him. And I'm like, for what? I got it taken
So
care of.
there's a record. That's the only thing she said that makes sense. You do want to text them versus calling. That way you have a.
No, she said I should call him versus text him.
Oh no, no, you want to text that
No,
way you have a
I
record
know.
of
I said it
timestamp
wrong.
dated. You can screenshot the shit for double protection. You say, look, I got the text and I screenshotted the shit to show you I didn't edit it or none of that.
No, because she goes, well, did you call him? And I go, no, I text him. She goes, oh, well, he ain't gonna respond. I'm like, how the fuck do you know? You just started.
Is she
So
like,
she goes out secretly and calls him behind my back. Now she's like, yeah, I talked to him about how you didn't want to wear masks and everything. And I'm like, oh my God. Like we could have talked about this privately. You didn't have to go and make it a big old fucking issue. Because she's not my boss. I'm not going to put on a mask. She just started because
yeah, if
she
it ain't your
said
boss,
to.
you should not say one goddamn word about it. I would tell the person, hey, you want to keep talking like that, you can go home for the day. And I know I'd send them home if they said anything else about it, because that's what I've been instructed to do. Don't take insubordination. Don't be a nice guy. If they're giving you any kind of lip, send them home. And I was like, really? Because I usually like to take them into fucking cooler and cuss them out, the shit out of them, and then put them back to work. And like I laughed about it, but I knew I was actually serious. Like, that's my pep talk for the guys. I don't do that to the women. Like I'll do the proper thing with them and okay, let's see how we can work on this issue. That kind of bullshit. Fucking I don't even know how we got this new chick that's in there. She don't talk. When she talks, it's like
Is she a low talker?
the worst of the worst. And she's always like she's so timid she won't do anything until told to do it.
Maybe
Like
she's shy.
she got done and she's just standing there and I'm smoking a cigarette, looking at shit, making sure everything's cool before I lock the doors. And I'm like, what's up? And she's like, I'm like, are you done? She's like, yeah. I'm like, did you clock out? She's like, no. I'm like, what time are you off? She's like, now. I'm like, we'll go clock out. And then she's like, okay. And then she goes and clocks out. And then she comes back and she's standing there. I'm like, what's up? Did you need anything else? I'm like, no, you're cool. Like, you clocked out, leave. Like, you're good to go.
Or maybe she's not sure.
I think she's only like 19 or 20. Like, I don't know if she's ever been outside of the house or college or I don't know.
That could be it. Maybe she's from Utah.
No, I
I'm
think
serious.
she's an Asian from Utah. Okay,
Maybe.
I'll bite. Howdy ho, I'm Jed Wang from the ranch.
Yeah, that's crazy, huh?
Yeah, but if you didn't have variety, then there'd be nothing to talk about. It's like everything's a catalyst for something else. Because even if you don't do wackadoo shit like talk low and make weird gestures all the time when you talk, then somebody else would be like, "Man, that guy talks, but you don't ever do hand gestures. That's weird." So it's like, okay, you can't please everybody. You got to please Someone. Oi!
Man, I got 3 hours to sleep.
Yeah. Unless you say, hey, I woke up in the middle of the night with stomach trouble. I'm gonna be a little late.
That might happen tomorrow. I might have to tell him I'm gonna be late.
Then you're not really ducking responsibility, but you're playing by your own terms. And then that'll put the Connie will have to fucking step up and fail.
Yeah, fuck her.
You won't be able to do shit without you. It's like, oh, thank God you finally got here. And then
Yeah,
she'd be like,
do you know the
yeah,
kind of do you know the kind of person that like tells you what to do even though they just started and then the next minute go, well, you're boss. What do you want
yeah,
to do?
yeah. Matt tried that shit for a minute until he finally got it. I set him down. And I was like, look, man, I know you think this is how it looks on paper, but here's the real hierarchy around here. It's Claudia, then it's me, period. To a lesser extent, Amy. But Claudia knows she can't trust Amy because Amy runs her fucking mouth, so that puts her below me a little bit. You know what I mean? So it's like even though Matt had his title longer than I had mine, I've been at that store longer and I know everything that fucking goes on with everybody. So there's no way he's gonna be, with me or above me. It's always gonna be beneath me. Now it
Yeah.
might not even be. Dude, he's gonna get sacked. I can see it.
Well, I would just
Well,
take down that video.
yeah, the only thing I got to worry about is if they go back and watch the footage and watch me watching the camera.
They watch you watching them.
Yeah, but I can say like, oh no, like I was looking at some other shit because they said someone was shoplifting, so I had to see if I could get it clear. Because I do that a lot. Like if someone took some shit and they're like, yo, they got away with the bag. I'll get a picture of the person so we can look for him next time. So I can always play that. Same as if they see me and him standing there watching, I can say the same thing. And I already told little man, I put him aside and I was like, look, motherfucker, don't cost me my job. As far as anybody says anything, they mention my name. I was not there. I didn't find out about any of it. It was a verbal altercation. That's my story. I was instructed by the guy that was part of it from the get go. You weren't there. I don't want to talk to you. Okay, cool. I'm out.
Oh my god, that shit cracks me up.
I know. Fucking
That
amateur
video,
hour,
take
dude.
it down. Take that video down.
I will. I got to figure out how to. I do it on YouTube. I was trying to do it in studio.
I would just take it down and then if keep it in case like later on you can put it back up.
Well, it doesn't show anything incriminating, so it's like
I know, but are you supposed to like show I don't think that's legal, is it? I'm just trying to help you out, Diz. You're going through a lawsuit. Well, you're not personally, but
not me personally. Okay, let's see. How do I do this? I go to my channel. Whoa, pushed my channel. Go to my channel. Then I got to do my
just make
video.
it private for
Yeah,
now.
thinking I'll make it private. We actually did okay for the other night, being just me and Dingbat,
What do you mean?
the Asperger's kid. Like he's not a bad kid. I mean, he means well. It's just like he's prone to a lot of sneaky evil shit. Thinks he's gonna get away with it because of his condition.
If I start snoring, please mute me, okay? I know you will. Diz, are you still there? Hello? Okay, well, have a good night. I'm not gonna fall asleep on here talking to myself.
Was it muting me or what?
Oh,
I'm
you were
still
on
here.
top or something.
No, I was making the videos private.
Oh, okay, good.
That way I wouldn't get in trouble and I wouldn't forget it because I did. I forgot earlier because I went to do it on the studio app and it didn't do. It didn't give me the option. So thank you for reminding me. If anybody want to watch them, I'll send you. Damn, I need to re up tomorrow. Fucking power bill's $100 this month. Can't believe that shit. I'm like, how?
I don't know how I got a credit on mine. I didn't even owe nothing.
Because you
That
paid too
means
much.
I'll just owe like double next month.
Yeah, they'll be like, oh, we made a mistake last time. They've done that shit to me, and then they're like, you actually owe us another $20. It's like, what the fuck? How's
I
that
know.
work?
They've done that to me too. That's how I know.
That must be nice. Pseudo, what up? Bacon, coincidentally. I don't know, man. Do you know where my mask is?
What's up,
Where's my
Diz?
mask?
What's going on?
Chilling. Just venting and fluffing and huffing.
Oh yeah, no,
Yeah,
I'm just hanging out.
yeah,
Who's
get
this?
crazy. See what's good for everybody goes to sleep for the night. I was gonna go on earlier, but then I nodded off. Went to an alternate reality. Now I'm back. Doing my dabs, as God intended. But I did solve the age restriction thing. It was because of the background TV noise.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say you found out where your mask was.
Oh no, that it's, it's gone. Where'd it go? It's like Joe Dirt. Where is he? Where'd he go? I can't find him anywhere. No, and it was my coolest one too. It disappeared. And I know Max didn't covet it and take it because he would like show me that he has to like, hey, you got this, and I like it. So I'm gonna keep. Because I've told him it's okay. If you see something of mine that you really, really like and want, like steal it from me, just say, hey, Dad, I really like this. Could I have it? And then I'll give him the speech and all that good stuff. Like I gave him the little figures you could get out of the quarter machine back in the day. Like I had like lots of them, but the only one I have left really is like the Grim Reaper one. So I gave it to Max, and he takes care of it. And every now and again he'll whip it out and be like, "Look, I still got your little guy, Daddy. I'm taking care of it. Good job." Her schedule changed too, so it's like now my schedule gets to change up a little bit. Hopefully to my benefit, where it's like more on my day or on the weekend. That would be tight. Like if she could take him on the weekend instead of her dad from now on, because he's old enough now where he's starting to see that Grandpa's kind of an asshole.
You're talking about school wise or?
No, just in general, like It's not my dad, it's baby mama's dad, and he's like a rabid truther, like a Q person, that type where it's like nothing will get everything's a conspiracy. It's all part of the program. Everything you eat, everything you read, everything you breathe. It's like, okay, evil exists. I get it. It's trying to kill me. I'm gonna die anyway. So what? Like I got Jesus. What else do I need? You know, magic happens. And it's God magic. Like check this out. Hooters cup, right? Someone
Right.
found this in the store for me. We don't sell these. It's from Hooters. What are the odds of that? Because I also had like a shirt show up about a year ago out of nowhere, right? So now I
Yeah.
got rid of the Hooters shirt and a Hooters cup shows up at the store. It's a cup that we don't sell at the store. And someone goes, "Hey, you should have this cup." I'm like, "Okay, thanks." And they went back to their business shopping around on the shelf. And I'm like, "The fuck is it? Like, we don't even have a Hooters in our city. I don't even know if LA has one anymore, you know? Like, that's crazy to me. I'm gonna have to
We don't
research it.
have one. We'd have to go to Vegas for a Hooters.
I think
Yeah,
LA has at least two.
yeah.
Yeah, I think one's in
Okay, well,
Burbank for sure, and I don't know where the other one is exactly.
but still, the odds of it making its way to me, like, that's crazy.
Yeah, I
I've
can dig
eaten at a
that.
Hooters one time. My friend and her husband, and they're like, "Come on, we're gonna take the kids out. You got to go with us." I'm like, it's Hooters. Like, I don't support that kind of shit. And they're like, "No, it's good food." I'm like, "All right, if food's good, I'll go. I don't want to see 16-year-olds with big tits. It's not my thing." So we get there, and they're like, "See, the girls are all of age." I'm like, "Okay, I'll eat more food." Then they had to do like it's his birthday. Like, oh fuck you guys. And
Yeah,
it
but
wasn't my,
I
but
think as a
they
kid, Hooters is probably just every kid's dream of that possibility of.
oh yeah, if you're a kid and you got all these boobs around you, it's like, hell's yeah, I'm the man right now. But when you're like in your 30s and you're single, it's like, yo, this looks fucking desperate and sad. Like, come on,
You
y'all
think
y'all played me.
you're at a what is it I don't want to say titty bar, but
Yeah,
uh
some people act like that.
dang it, what like a topless bar, I guess. A
A titty
non-topless
bar.
bar. There's got to be a bar where you're not topless. I can't think of the name.
A strip club.
Uh,
Exotic dancers.
well, those exist, but it's even thinking of a strip club to
Spearmint
be
right now.
like clothed is a little weird to think about it. I would say, but I know those exist. Um,
What, where they just dance around with no tops on?
yeah,
Well, no, there's all levels of it. Spearmint rhino, they can serve liquor, but they have to wear bikinis.
like a coyote. What is that? What is that movie?
Coyote Ugly.
Yeah, kind of like a coyote ugly kind of a little
Mm,
area you can go to for kids.
for kids. Great. Oh,
I
man.
was thought of the worst place my uncle dragged me to ever in the history of any kind of bar, and it was like a makeshift titty bar where these people had like a old brick 1-story house, and they knocked a fucking hole through the wall and attached it to a single wide trailer and put a bar and like a pseudo dance floor with some ghetto ass Spencer's lights for club lighting. And like the whole time, I'm just looking at my uncle like, "Man, you're paying me for being here." And he's like, "What?" I'm like,
Dude.
"You're gonna pay me at the end of the night. I want $50 for the drive, and then I want another 50 for having to sit here and waste my money on herb and beer to fucking feel good enough about being here to even be here for long enough for whatever the fuck you got going on." Because he had set up some meeting with some dude. And he's like, "Yeah, that'll be." I heard him on the phone, so I knew it was legit. He's like, "Yeah, I'll meet you there, and we'll go over the paperwork." But he's like, "We'll go here because like the closest midpoint." And I'm like, "What is it?" And he's like, "Oh, it's just some bar." I'm like, "Is it a titty bar?" And he's like, "Yeah, kinda." So I'm like, all right, whatever, no big deal. Until we got there, and I was like, it is like surreal, You're just like, what the fuck? How does this exist in modern times? Like some swamp people style shit.
I guess if you go back maybe in the 1960s, you were living it up or something like that.
Nah, this place it looked like you'd have to be fucking way up in the hills of Appalachia with like nothing. You ain't got no TV and you ain't got no fucking instruments. You just got a jukebox of some chicks that are willing to show off their ugly tits and eyes. So you're like, well, that's all we got. Let's do it. Because there was seriously like five people in there. We were two of them. And it was awkward and weird. And you didn't want to look at the cancer because it's like, what is that scar? Is that a C-section? Is that an appendectomy? The alien burst out of you? Like, I don't know what's going on with people sometimes.
Good experience, though. Good experience.
I'll have to message my crackhead uncle one of these days. Be like, what was the name of that fucking joint? Because it had a really funny country western name too. That totally like belied what was inside. Like shindigs or shit kickers or something like that.
Shit kickers. Could they be totally nude there?
Yeah, but you really didn't want them to be. I literally turned my chair around so I wouldn't face anybody except fucking my crackhead uncle. Like, and looking at him versus looking at a chick that's naked, like, and I want to see him, like, that should tell you. Like, there's butter faces, but this bitch was a whole stick of butter. It was just nonstop. No, no, nope, nope, nope. Because you're looking like maybe she's got cute feet. Like, nope, butt, nope, waist, nope, a bucket full of nose.
You probably were not. You probably weren't drunk enough.
Yeah.
I don't think anybody could have been at that time. That's one of those where it's like a shotgun wedding, I would imagine, where the guy's like, but I don't, you should have thought about that before you got fucking tore up on Jim Beam and banged my daughter. Look at her.
No, just stop.
This house gonna be though. Yes, sir.
Someone has to suffer. I understand.
That shit still happens. Fucking my friend Junior, when him and his chick had a pregnancy scare, homegirl's dad showed up out of nowhere. She ain't seen him in like 5, 6 years. He came out of nowhere. So I heard he got my girl pregnant. I assume
You
you
know
know
what? I actually have a real life scare. Maybe you can help me out with.
what happened.
What do you think about like a wedlock baby?
It happens.
But what do you think about like a father coming, um, like very straightforward?
What do you mean, like being a dad?
Yeah, like let's say that they're having a baby, and this father says, "You better bury my daughter before this baby's born."
I mean, if that's what you want to do, yeah. If you really aren't going to want to be married to her, it's not going to be healthy for the sake of the kid. To
But
force.
would you say it's necessary or?
Well, no, if you try to force a relationship in front of him, no matter how nice it seems, once that deception is revealed later on in life, he's going to figure it out, and all of it's going to click back in his brain. And he's going to feel betrayed. Like, yo, what the fuck? If you didn't love her, why? Which goes back to you shouldn't be having kids with people if you don't love them. You don't necessarily have to be married to them either. That's just some shit they made up along the way. But if you like the legalities of it and you like having the standards in society, it does help to have your children have your name legally through a marriage more
But
than just to
wait,
them.
yeah, but would you say like having a baby born out of wedlock necessarily means that you're leaving yourself open to like different options at that point, or would
You
you
actually
still?
have more rights as a father by not being married. Like as a single dad, I have way more leeway with custody and all that than if we were married and had to mediate, go through court. I would have been fucked. They would have expected me to pay money, even though I'm fucking with the kid most of the time. All that shit, like it would all go towards the woman at that. So staying out of the marriage, even if you have a great relationship, that's the ideal outcome. Especially if you got a family member that's willing to be like, yo, do this shit or else. It's like, yo, like that would be, I would say like counsel towards it or figure out if you could make it work or if that's what you want to work, but you can't dictate to people like that. Crazy.
So would you say like as a male, like it's like in today's times, is it better to have a baby born out of wedlock, or would you essentially say that they should be like married before the baby's born?
I would say definitely out of wedlock because let's see, through marriage and divorce, I ain't seen my other two children in 14 years. I've
Yeah.
had text messages for like maybe a couple months. Versus my son, who I wasn't married to her, and I see him whenever I want. He's always with me. He can go with her whenever he wants. Like everything's cool. We don't fight. There's no arguments. It's just all right. I'm gonna come pick him up. Okay, cool. All right, I'm gonna drop him off. Okay, cool. Like I have way less issues. There's no resentment. None of that shit. I don't give a fuck about her, dude. She don't care if I get a girl. Like none of that. Like so, yeah, I would definitely weigh in on that one. Just on the average woman.
No, I appreciate that. I'm just curious because if I had to say, my own like personal experience, I would weigh marriage like way more further out there.
Yeah. See, my first kid, I got married because she was pregnant. I was like, hey, let's do the right thing. I believe in marriage. I believe in being a dad. So, we're going to keep doing it. So we might as well be legitimate and get married. There's a 5 minute proposal. There's a more like a business proposal to me when I think about it. Because I basically was like, we might as well. And then she's just like, okay. And then an hour later, we were married. Vegas!
Yes, Secretary
Jumped
of
in and
State.
take girls. Like I don't even know how that's legitimate. Like they let you be all fucked up out of your mind on alcohol and get married, but it's legit.
I think now they have like that medium, like the domestic partnership, where I think you can take it more of like that business aspect rather than like actual love. But I don't know if you would consider marriage like that, love, rather
No,
than
I
just.
wouldn't just fake marry someone in Vegas or marry him in Vegas if I didn't love him. Like I was already with the chick, I got her pregnant. So, I mean, it wasn't like it might not have never happened. It was just like that kind of sped up the trial, the plot of the trial. Can't think of that woman without thinking of court. Like for instance, I was in fucking. They put me in the murderer block with all the fucking hardcore felons, right? And everybody's telling their stories, 'cause there's nothing else to do. So we're just sitting up late at night, drinking juice and eating cookies and shit, talking. And the one dude's telling a story about how he was high on coke and tried to murder his chick because she was cheating with his brother, and he stabbed his brother and was like trying to choke her to death. And the cops got him. Like fuck. And then the other dude like killed somebody. They just killed somebody because they stepped on the shoes wrong, and then fucking started talking shit. So they shot him, and they ended up dying over it. I was like, man, that's crazy. And like everybody's story was killing and violence and robbery. And they're like, what did you do? I'm like, I don't think I should tell y'all. And they're like, damn, is it bad? And I'm like, no, not in that sense. And like, what happened? I'm like, I called my ex a bitch on the telephone. And they're like, what? They're like, what the fuck are you doing in here with us? I'm like, I don't know. Do you think I got the worst luck in the world?
Oh man, that's awesome.
It was insane. But I made a lot of cool connections.
Did you have to fight for your right to party?
Hell no. I'm a nice person. Nobody stresses me out or tries to pull gay shit or any of that crazy shit. You're representing like, hey, I'm the biggest. Like, I'm not the biggest person. I'm not the strongest or the fastest. I don't pretend to be. But what I do have is a loyal network of human beings that I've carefully cultivated for 4 decades. Each one unto death, because they know that I am loyal unto death. And have proven it back and forth many times over, various ways.
Hmm.
But as I'm a smart person, I still always have the aspect of betrayal. So I can't totally ever discount anybody, because even Jesus can be betrayed. So anybody else could too. See how it all works logically? People are like, it's make believe. Well, even if it's make believe, you can still make logic happen out of it. So there you go. Can't be fake if reality can be manipulated by it, or reality isn't reality.
Right, 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 right. Makes sense.
Slippage, like call it. I need to watch all my studies.
Study.
Or, yeah, like if you go back through all the media, you can find lessons in magic, occultism, Christianity, every religion. It's all laid out different ways so that people pick up on different facets of it and get the groundwork for the pantheism that's coming. You know what I mean? I feel like
Oh
that's
yeah,
how
definitely.
they blur the lines. Like they'll have the witches on charm wearing crosses. They're the good guys, even though there's so many demons fight with, and they're married to a demon. But they're the good guys, and they got a cross on. You know what I mean? It's like they're constantly muddying the waters on thought, making everything that was once transparent opaque.
Yeah.
It, it's blatant as fuck now, but it was subtle back in the day. But then there was also this undercurrent where the person could sneak in their own lessons for the truly observant to pick up on, to see what was coming ahead. What they call predictive programming now has always been there, you know. There's just a code not everybody knew. Not a lot of people still do. They're still decoding shit from 10, 15 years ago. It's like you got to go back further. You got to go back prior to 79. Because 79 was when the first media I was aware of started popping up shit, telling me everything about it. But before that, I haven't really found examples of any of it.
Well, and that's crazy because I was actually reading on that because before that you would have to go like on newspapers, magazines, or
Yeah,
some kind of journalism.
there was no way to have a fictitious story going on where you could slip it in.
Yeah, it was just like a brute story, and then you can extrapolate from there.
You can't add lie to the truth. Vice versa. They try to fucking obfuscate all this shit, crackhead shit. World Trade Center, wasn't that also 79?
Um, for me, it was obviously September 11th. Is that what you mean? I'm not too
No,
sure.
no, no. Like when it was opened and up and running.
You know what? I'm not. I'm honestly not too sure.
I feel like I'm right on that, but I won't swear to it. But I feel like it got fucking open for business in 79. Might have been 77 though. But if it was 79, that would be a neat coincidence. That it also dialed in with the way television changed. So that's when the counterculture also entered it too. You had WKRP with people smoking weed. Even though they didn't really show them smoking weed, they would have ashtray. They would have fucking smoke in the air while they're doing their rock and roll records and all that dumb shit.
Hmm.
And then like once the 80s, once that was cool, okay, now it's all about witchcraft and black magic, wizardry, all that. Like every show had to reference it. It's pretty much kept up since then. Like the Disney seeds that Disney planted sprung up, so everybody was suddenly into witchcraft.
You think there's a difference between like a witch that wears a cross and between a witch that wears a cross upside down?
No, they're both deceived. There is no religion. There is only God and you, and God and me, and God and them. Like there's no religion to it. It's existence. We're all connected to the same creator. So we don't need to go someplace to be together because we're always together. We can never be separate or apart. We're always, you know, you're always around somebody somewhere. It's all relative. Even if you're in the middle of the desert. I'm 200 miles out. Okay, well, somebody could walk 200 miles in a day and a half. So you're really not that far from anybody ever. And even then, you're still not apart from God because God's everywhere.
Right, right. I feel on that.
Crazy mechanics of all of it. It's just like, ah, it's fun to think about though. Make your brain spin.
But
Um,
that would fit more like the the pantheist kind of view, right?
no, not in this. No, because pantheism is more like they try to make like one religious belief out of all of them. And atheists want to deny all of them. But I don't want to deny any of them or follow any of them or destroy them or any of it. Just want them to, people should have their own ability to choose like they always did. Because the stuff that they're teaching, they should at least teach it accurately if they expect people to believe it correctly. And everything that people think they know is horse shit most of the time. They come up with something, this is there and that's that. Like, no, it's not. Where you got that? That's not right. It's like someone telling you the lyrics to a song and you're like, no, that's not the lyrics. And they're like, yeah, yeah, it is. I know. And you're like, then you don't know shit, you know? Like, believe it or not, you don't have to believe it to know the accurate words of the book. You know what I mean? Like, I don't believe every word in the article, but I'm not going to sit there and misquote it just to prove my point.
Right.
Like, everybody's always on and on. The virgin birth and God fucked Mary and blah, blah, blah. It's like, no, that's a Catholic thing. The Catholics put that in there. The fucking people of the old times, the word virgin just meant you were a young woman of childbearing age. You were married. Like, it never said anything about God banging the woman or, that she wasn't a virgin, like a virgin with her hymen intact. None of that shit. But it doesn't conform to people's biases, so they don't want to hear it. Just like when you tell them hell isn't in the Bible like that. They're like, oh, no, you go to hell. Like, no, you don't. The Bible doesn't say that. It described it as a spirit. It's only mentioned 3 times. And it doesn't say you're going to be sent to hell for your sins in any of those.
But I think it calls it the pit.
Well, why would it say that versus something else? Because it's different times that different parts were written in too. So it's like what the concept changed and adapted over the years, and they all admit to it. At first, it was Abraham's bosom, and it was just like you go underground and you're comfortable sleeping with your relatives until God comes and revives you. But then it became Sheol, and it became like it's always changing. It's Hades. It's fucking fucking Helgerflecken or whatever the fuck the Nordic word is. I don't even. I'm
Mm.
high right now, so I can't recall all my fun nerd words. But yeah, the concept's evolved, so it's like it's a concept. It's not real. Rocks haven't changed. Rocks are rocks. That's not a concept. It's fucking what is, right? Water's still water. Water is what it is. It just is. It hasn't done anything. It's changed. It's the same. It's water. It's always going to be water, right? But
Yeah.
concepts change because they're not solid. They're not based on the creator. The creator didn't create them. We created it. And if we created it, then there's some semblance of bullshit to it. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, but that's really interesting because I was actually reading up on that too. It's like if you take like the concept of water, it's like you would have to say like water is ice, and then water is hydrogen and helium. Oh, uh, you know, dang it, hydrogen and oxygen.
That's
But
cold fusion that you're witnessing. Every time you see water condense, you just saw cold fusion.
right, but let's say like you take a 3 year old and then they ask you like what is ice, and you tell them it's water, and then they look at ice and they look at water and they see the difference and they still don't understand. So then you tell them that the water is in the ice. So then they crack the ice cube open and they look at both sides and they see that there's still no water in there. Um, but eventually, if the ice melts, then they'll see the water. If they boil the ice or the water, it becomes into hydrogen helium.
Yeah, you have to
So
show them three phases of matter: solid, liquid, and gas. So explain it as you go, and then they understand.
yeah, but as far as like the concept of water, is water ice or is it a gas? Like, what would you say indefinitely?
It's
Um,
all of the above. Just like everything, everything has to have moisture in it, or it's a rock. It's just inert matter. Like the trees, even when they're rotting, they still have some moisture in it. Once they become dry, they die off or they petrify and turn to stone. Like the other animals eat them up, like the termites, up to a point. And then once it's at that point, like it just goes inert. Like we're solid, liquid, and gas all at once too. But at the same time, we're a solid energy wave vibrational pattern. But it's so much more beyond that. Like the more complexity you think about, you can always add another layer to it to really appreciate it. You're like, ah, I don't deserve this, and here I am. And all you can do is just say thank you, God. But people aren't content with that. They gotta have crazy shit. We need a parade, and we need to have a big giant organ and flowers everywhere. You gotta wear suits and shit like that. Why? Never get any of that hoo-ha shit. Like, if that makes sense. It's all fake, at least.
I dig it.
Stop, get off of it. Oh, blah, 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 blah. Why are you blocking the signal, Bob? Definitely gotta be. Yeah, Bob. Fucking cat's figured out how to roll just right so he turns the fucking TV on and off. Yes, you did that shit just because I'm talking about that.
Oh, sorry about that. Just got back.
Oh no, not you. I'm talking to your cat.
Oh.
Keeps rolling over and bumping the on off button. The TV's on and off.
It could be me, honestly. I'm actually outside, so sometimes my air conditioner kind of goes off in like a big ass. Ah!
No, I'm watching my cat.
Oh,
Right now, the TV's currently off.
oh, your cat. I'm sorry. I thought you were talking like somebody online.
No, 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 no. I have a cat that eats mice.
That's pretty badass.
That's all he does. I got him because I had fucking people getting tended for mice, and I saw a mouse out in the yard, and I was like, "Fuck that! Time to get cats." Because I had two of them, and then someone stole the other one. They stole his sister, and they're like, "Oh, well, it's got the pet chip," and I'm like, "Yeah, but unless somebody turns the shit into the shelter, it's not activated." So I'm like, "What good is the pet chip?" Dumbest shit I'd ever heard. I'm like, "Wait a minute." So he's got a tracking chip, but you can't track it until it's been turned in. Like, the most retarded thing I've ever heard because once it's been turned in, they'll read the tracking chip and it'll tell them, hey, this is the owner. You know what I mean?
No, yeah, I actually used to work at a veterinarian hospital, so there was actually dogs that would come in. They would have the chip, and it would actually sometimes it would go back to the owner, but the only way it could go back to the owner is they would have to register or sometimes pay a fee to register into a database, and the majority of people really didn't do that. They pay for the microchip, but I don't think they knew that they still had to take like an extra step forward
Yeah.
to uh, to register into a database. But yeah, even then, they would have somebody would have to go out of their way to like pick up a stray dog and take it to the shelter. Well,
And nobody's taking a nice, clean, fresh kitten and being like, oh, this, like my cat was tight. Like, I get all the shots and all that jazz. So they're all taken care of. So it's like, they still a good cat. But Bob's good too. He's awesome. Kills lizards. I've seen gophers and rats. I know he fucks with possums because I've seen the scratches on him. And he's like not at all. He doesn't bug me for attention. Like he doesn't want to be petted. Like I know a lot of cats like to be stroked for hours. It's like nah, fuck that. I'll pat you on the head a couple of times and it's like bounce. That's body heat. I don't need a fucking warm spot on my leg. That throws my blood pressure off. Like yeah, feels weird.
hmm are you? Would you say you're more like a dog person or a cat person?
Yeah, I always had dogs up until I was out here because there's just more mice around because of the farmlands. So it's like a cat's a necessity. At least outdoor. I like to let him go feral. He goes to the bathroom outside. I don't got a litter box for him or any of that shit. I'll feed him, but it's just like a maintenance diet. So that way he has to go out and hunt for his real protein. Otherwise, he serves no purpose. I don't. I mean, pets aren't that amusing to me. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's just extra money. Max likes him a lot though, so he'll always find some kind of pet. As long as it's not a parakeet, I'm cool.
What if it's a mat? What if it's a rat?
If it's a rat, we're gonna be feeding it to a snake or an owl.
No, it was just funny because you have the cats to get rid of them, but what if his next best friend is like a mouse, or he
Nah,
or like a hamster, like some kind of rodent?
we had a hamster before, and it escaped. Grandpa let it escape.
I'm sure that cat got it, or Bobby.
We didn't have a cat at that point,
Oh,
but I know one of the cats or something or other got it because it's a hamster in the wild. Like there's open fields, then a graveyard, then farmlands for miles, then the harbor. So it's like it's just wildlife. Then the riverbed's right like 2 blocks away. So it's just there's a lot of wildlife around these parts. Like it's not city like LA. Here it's more like on the edge of fucking the wilderness and the beach and the mountains all at once.
That's pretty cool. Pretty zombie safeguard.
Shit, those people they'll do each other in because they're so far out of the loop. They're not going to know anybody else. Where do we go? I don't know. Those people aren't there. Everybody split, and like there's not really other spots around me unless you travel a little bit, a couple of blocks in each direction, because there's just lots of strip malls. Like they slowly took all the houses out, you know? Which is cool because now I can walk to like I think it's like 180 different jobs within a mile of me, so I never have to worry about fucking wasting gas money or any of that shit. I think it's maybe rained twice in the last 2 years for 10 minutes, so I don't have to sweat walking to work. Work's 2 blocks up, like never late. I could be faded as fuck and just be like, oh shit, gotta go. And I'm there. And it's awesome. And soon we'll get rid of Gavin Newsom. Hopefully Larry Elder isn't horrible. I don't know much about him. I just know he's not Gavin Newsom. But I'm not going to vote either way. That I'll vote for the recall, but I won't vote for a new person. I'll just like get this motherfucker out. That's all I want to vote for. I will voice my opinion. Newsom is a sellout to China. It's been proven fucking over and over and over. I don't know why that shit's legal. He should be in jail for it. But these governments say they're all immune. They're immune from prosecution. And where the hell did that come from? How do we get rid of it?
Mm. Well, I mean, Trump was impeached, right? But
Yeah, but why do they all get qualified immunity? Fucking, you get to sin without fucking reproach. You can murder. Cool. When people let it happen, they let it happen more and more and more. That's why it keeps happening more and more and more. They opened up the valve a little bit when they let Ted Kennedy slide with fucking killing that chick in the car wreck. Like ever since he got away with that shit, it's just got worse and worse. And once Hillary Clinton is like, shit, what can you do that's really
right.
You're still finding out dirty shit those people did, you know? Like they fucking scum of the earth. But they were right about rape culture. They just neglected to tell everyone it was all of them and their friends doing all the raping.
Was it the B2 movement or Me Too movement?
We're firmly for this movement. Well, you've been accused like fucking 8 times, Mr. Biden. Oh, you don't believe those women. Those women were liars. But everybody else got to believe all the women all the time, except when they're accusing me. Right.
What you said, Mr. Biden?
Yeah, dude, he had accusations brought up against him. He ran for president 2 other times and was soundly kicked to the curb.
I did not know that. I honestly thought you were talking about like the 1960s version of the Me Too movement.
No, this is back in the 80s.
Oh, really?
And I think he got some harassment during Obama. It always comes back up. People bring that shit back up. He got fucked for plagiarism. He lies all the time about his accomplishments. Like he just makes up stories like fucking what was that movie, Walter Mitty?
Mm-hmm.
Where the dude just imagines all this fanciful shit and it's just a bunch of horse shit. I beat up Corn Pop and I told him you better get up on the diving board and blah blah. No, you didn't. None of that happened, you lying sack of shit. You went up to four black dudes and you one little white dude were gonna threaten them with a chain and they didn't jump you right down there. Fucking bullshit. Bullshit.
Right. But no lie,
No
Clinton.
matter what color those dudes were, if you got you and three of your friends and some dude comes up with a chain, you and your friend's first instinct is, yo, let's fuck this motherfucker up. And then
Right.
you fuck him up. You don't sit there and listen to his little fucking fanciful speech like, who are you? Oh, hold on, guys, hold on. He's going to give a speech. Let's see what he has to say first before we beat him up. I want to get in a fight just so I can try. I can be like, hold on. Before we begin, I have something I would like to say.
That's hilarious.
Gravity. I don't think
Oh,
gravity is such.
what is that? The pyramid?
Yeah, gravity's hard because there's no consistency to it. You can overcome gravity with speed, trajectory, but only to a certain extent, and then it takes back over, but not always. If you
I
meet
think what he, I think what he's trying to say is that gravity is a misconception. That probably gravity doesn't exist. Um, like if you take like the what he's saying, I think here is like the pyramids. I
I think
guess
it's
even
more subtle than people realize.
the gravity.
Yeah,
Or-
unless it's just fine tuned to where it interacts with everybody on every level. Everything's on its own level. I don't believe the moon is in control of the tides or any of that bullshit because it would affect all bodies of water that are large, not just the oceans.
Yeah, but I think this Lance Single guy is saying like I think he's talking about electromagnetism. So, for example, if you take salt, that would be kind of like a high concentration of water. You could take water, but I don't think salt water would work. Um, but I think he's saying that you can take certain energies, and those energies would like a pyramid would be kind of like what they would be like I guess like an electromagnetic little
Well, it would be
or
an
a
energy
transformer. It would be like a transformer, I guess.
Yeah, it would be an energy trap. You have the energy just constantly going around this framework endlessly. It can never escape. It can never change or diminish. It just continuously goes through its prison. So you have all these sigils representing the fallen angels, and each one is their energy encased in the design. It can never leave. It's harnessed until the summoner breaks the seal, draws
Yeah,
it.
but I think that thing breaking the field would be like the water source. So you would have the water source running under pyramids, and then they would kind of go through, and so you want to have like that stagnant energy because that energy, like that
Easy
going
to
back.
prove. It's easy to prove, but there's no water shown on any of the how they remember they showed the tunnels that they discovered by doing the ground penetrating Doppler radar whatever they used. It would have
Yeah.
shown the water under there. Like ones in Peru, they found the mercury lake underneath it, you know?
Right.
You know that what I'm talking about?
Yeah, yeah,
And then there's like they had stories of the underworld with the passages and all that was true shit. Like all their alleged mythology does have basis in actual places. There's corresponding architecture, but the Egyptian shit seems like some after the fact. It seems like slave built. Like all of that culture seems like slave shit because they were forbidden to write. So they were drawing pictures everywhere, tagging it with pictures so they wouldn't get in trouble. What's that? Oh, it looks like a bird and some, the intelligent people at the time would have looked at it the same way we do. Like, oh, it's just some drawings on the wall.
right.
We wouldn't care to decipher it because they're the beneath the people, you know?
Yeah, definitely.
Here's a good riddle then. The more you increase a volume of water, the less molecular weight it has. It starts losing molecular weight the more you increase the mass of the volume of water.
You know,
But
it's right.
where's it going? What is it losing? It's gaining mass. It can't be losing hydrogen or oxygen, right?
Hmm.
I have never come up with a solution to it. I don't think anyone has, but I don't know. I only learned of the problem like I saw it in someone's science video like last year. Like, damn, that is interesting. And I started looking into it. Like evaporation, no, that doesn't count. Like nothing accounts for that because you're just increasing water volume. So the weight should correspondingly increase in parts per million, but somehow no, it's lighter. So
I
that
think
means maybe there is some kind of force field that is reacting to the water in all of us through the electromagnetism.
yeah, but I think that could be also like
But then if
another.
that's designed for the whole habitat, why would you make things that are mostly non-conductive the predominant surface? And like there's so much that wouldn't react to it. That would be dead space, like rocks and trees and dirt. You'd have to inherently have all that stuff like at a low default setting in order to have the defined subtleties of the life forms, plants, like flowers, that exhibit more variety and pattern. You know what I mean?
Definitely, definitely.
If it was a program, there's more code work into like a bird of paradise than just your average poplar tree. Even though genetically both are fucking miraculous, expressions aren't as vibrant for us. Everybody likes their own shit. I like birch trees because they have that feel to them, powdery, and it makes good guitar wood. You want to go out, Bob? Is that what you're telling me? Bob, want to go out? 'Cause I don't want you staring at me.
What is that, Lance? Everything has matter. Everything has mass. Mass has matter. Matter is made of atoms. Atoms, atomic particles, electrons, protons, and neutrons. Electrons revolve around the nucleus, creating an electromagnetic field. The more atoms, the greater the attraction. More atoms. I want you on the panel when I do the presentation. Everything is electromagnetism. It's on atomic level. Gravity theory is not measurable atomically. I have done the work and proved the Earth is not flat. It's raised in the center is a pyramid with a hole on top.
Could just be one big giant nut. Or we could be in the hollow. Because that also makes about as much sense. And it kind of fits in with all of this shit. Like, what if we're all in this big simulation dome, like The Simpsons, because nuclear holocaust, and everybody's been trapped underground for a long time, and they can't keep up the charade anymore, and they're afraid we're gonna get out and get to the surface and want to be part of the fucking real fun.
I dig that. I believe that. Reminds me of that story of the Tower of Babel.
Yeah, there's obviously something up there. They wouldn't have been able to talk everybody into trying to get up there, you know? Like, if someone said that, they're like, hey, let's build a tower to get up there. Why? And then they point up and they're like, see that shit? Let's go find out what that is. And they'll be like, oh, okay, let's go. But if there ain't nothing up there, they're going to be like, man, fuck your tower. Why do I need to climb 100 feet? I can get pussy right here on the ground. Got weed on the ground? Yep. Got food? Uh huh. Got some drinks? Yep. Well, I don't need to go fucking way up in here. The average you got to think how like the average person and all the below average people make up a large swath of any population. So unless some shit has some real weight to it that people can latch onto and be like, okay, that's real, you're not going to get everybody. Especially not when you're trying to build some shit like a tower to heaven. Someone to me, I'd be like, wait, a tower to heaven? Like, is this acid we're taking, or like you're not gonna build a fucking physical tower into the sky that high? Like, that's insane. Unless you know some kind of magical aspect of structural engineering that no one else is aware of, based on materials not present or known to be present on Earth. Okay, the sun's a good one. What do they always say? It's coronal mass ejection, right? It's ejecting mass, always ejecting these. Why isn't it shrinking in size if it's shedding mass? If it's all correspondent. Are you making orgone collectors?
Shedding gas? What are you saying?
He says this whole thing used a big argon energy field. No, when they say that they have solar flares and the coronal mass ejections, the sun's throwing off plasma. It's like whipping out its very self into space. So if that's happening, then the sun should be shrinking noticeably at some point because it's perpetually losing mass and floating.
Oh, the sun?
Yeah,
Oh.
but depending where you're at on the planet, it looks fucking huge sometimes. Sometimes it doesn't, depending on the season. You know?
Makes sense. Kind of. Can't say I can really relate, but
Yeah, you'd have to see pictures of it, like when they show the pictures
well,
discharge. It kind of looks like when you see someone whipping water off their hair, it's just like flying
well
off.
you know what I found to be like an interesting topic is like if somebody gave you a test question and it was like a 50-50 and they asked you like is the sun white or is it yellow? What answer would you put?
None of the above. It's all the spectrums of light, visible and invisible, as far as known science tells us. Because there's infrared, you can put on different lenses and see the different wavelengths. You can make a prism, and, you know what I mean? Like this observable phenomenon.
But would you say that that prism starts off
Technically,
with
it starts
white?
off white.
like the what is that? What the fuck is that? Damn it! You know, Pink Floyd. Yeah, you better eat for your pork. But um, but in those pictures, would you say that the sun is yellow or white in those same pictures?
Well, it should appear yellow because it's being filtered through the blue atmosphere.
But what about like the pictures like in space and stuff like that?
Those should be in infrared because there's no atmosphere technically, based on their stories that they tell us. There's no atmosphere in space. Well, the moon's now in low Earth orbit, and eventually they'll say, okay, well, the sun's also in low Earth orbit. We just don't want to tell you because then everything we say is suspect. So even when they had shit right, no one's gonna believe them anymore because the fucking lies they told. Yeah, see, Bacon knows. Same with me. The sun emits white light through our atmosphere. It appears yellow because of the blue atmosphere to our eyes, but you put a prism down and it makes a rainbow. But without a firmament, you wouldn't have a rainbow in the sky because you wouldn't have anything to refract it through. You have to have refraction. You see the rainbow because of dewdrops and so forth. But up there in the stratosphere, it's a different thing. The ionosphere. Oh, the ionosphere is crazy.
You talking the firmament like a wall, like a raku kind of,
The
or
shell, the trap.
the Nike? What was it? Yeah, like
See,
a
like
glass dome,
here's how I envision, based upon all the, like if you add up everyone's mythologies and try to put it all together into one thing that works, this is how it comes out. We're on this huge fucking thing, right? At some point, there was a fucking technological super war, and we got put into this fucking spot. And it seems big. It's got all the continents and shit on it. And it seems really big, but it's really just this small spot on a greater whole. And we were put in there to fucking live and survive and heal and reproduce while the rest of the fucking place heals. And the rest of the place is healed, but people have gotten sour because the fucking tech's dying. And it's starting to fucking affect everybody. No one understands why. They're like, oh, it's evil, it's the devil, it's pollution, it's all of the above. Everything's failing because this needs to be broken out of. Whatever we're encased in is supposed to be exited. Someone's trying to artificially trap us here. Whether it's a physical barrier or some kind of spiritual magic barrier, like, there's no way to know. That's what I always heard before they made NASA and their claims of landing on fucking moon. The moon was plasma. Not, oh, the moon causes gravity. But you don't feel the moon in your body, which has water. How can you be three-quarters of your body water and you don't feel any of it? It's such a strong force it moves the fucking ocean, but you can't feel it. And they disproved the theory that the moon affects people and makes them crazier during certain times of the month. Soundly disproven as pseudoscience. People don't want to hear it. People need to get ice picks in their ears. But that was just making stuff. So instead, you gotta make nice music, brainwash them, and call it pop culture.
yeah. you know what trips me out about the moon is like even if you see it as a plasma ball, it's like you can still look at it and see like the craters or whatever those holes are in between. Um,
Yeah, so then like, is it the reflection? I always thought it looked like the reflection of the continents, the way they actually are. That it does make more sense as a reflection of Earth, because you would see the projector from wherever it's at, shooting it up like bat signal.
but it's crazy because if you go off of that, it's like you would have to explain where like the moon always has like the old man phase at certain times. So if it's a reflection, you would have to kind of take the whole Earth and just kind of really take whatever's
How
mad.
it's supposed to be orbiting, but you never see the other side of it ever. Never ever. We never see the other side of the moon. Never. It's always the same side with the fucking craters and dimples and shit. But it's orbiting. It's spinning 1,000 miles an hour. It's just senseless horseshit math. It adds up on paper. Yeah, a lot of shit does. And then the people get hauled into jail for fraud because they were cooking the books.
But how would you say like like the moon being a plasma, even though it's a reflection of the Earth, how do you think it gets its eclipses?
I have no idea. It'd be like just this big shape. I don't know that it's a full bubble. There's no indication that it's anything but some kind of angle in a circle with a dome, like a rounded face with the angle on the back, like a fucking cufflink. We don't get to see the backside, so there's no telling. All we get to see is this little face, just like the clock they sell you. And then, like even Genesis, you listen to it, it's like God said, "Let there be light," and there's light. And He had the day and the night, but then He made the sun and the moon after the fact. So it just, I don't know. You got to make it add up somehow.
But that's crazy because like if you take the model of having a firmament, you would have to almost assume, or like you can say like evening and like daylight and evening aren't reflections, or like these sort of kind of their own little entities because they would have to have existed before there was even a sun to reflect
Yeah,
that light. So you would still have evening or day and night, but you wouldn't have a sun to reflect that light.
or a moon either, which is day and night. That'd be weird.
It reminds me of like that never ending story, just like that shadow of evening that just comes in, but it's like its own entity maybe.
That's how they treat it. Like people sing songs about it, write poems, like night moves.
That was me, sorry. But I'm just saying that because
You
because
being
I
electrocuted?
no, it's just my AC turning on. But you can see like how like you can take that model of having like that glass dome, but even though everything's reflecting and it's going in the counterclockwise direction, you would have to account like the
According to Enoch, it's made of liquefied beaten sapphire.
right.
That's why it's blue. And they found like chunks or chunks of the shit in the desert that they think fell out of it. And then all the way that they always shoot up into the sky and they're telling you they're trying to shoot nuclear missiles at it. But then now all of a sudden all the rockets have these dick tips like it's going to attach itself to something. And then they can just start building a framework from beneath it and just live up in the sky like the Jetsons, like they want to, and just
What
let
have you
all of us evolve into Fred Flintstone and company.
have you seen that rocket that they shoot up in the sky and they have like little camera and then it's it's speeding up and it slows down kind of thing.
Oh, it just stops. It spins. Doesn't go no further. It hits something, fucking stop.
Yeah, because I it's really interesting because if you have like the firmament, you would almost have to assume that if it gets to that point, it would have to pretty much just explode if it's really hitting like this hard solid dome.
It's like how much velocity did it really take to get up that high? To where it would hit but not destroy it, but it would still be like, you think it would be a lot shakier too.
But what would you call that thing that it? Because I think like in that kind of community, what apparently this rocket hit would be the firmament. But if the firmament is like a rock solid dome, like what would
It
you
should,
say it hit to make the camera still
common
function
sense
but still
tells
slow
you
down?
it should ricochet according to natural physical laws of physics. Because anything else you shoot at something hits it and glances off. You know what I mean? Like you can't fast approach something like that. You would hit it and be deflected. You'd have to slowly approach it, then put the nose up there, then like slowly turn the power up to maintain that kind of shit. But even then, it wouldn't be stable enough to have a stable image. It would be like, you know what I mean? Like potholes fucking fuck your vision up and fuck up the eye. And the eye's awesome. The camera gets jiggled, it's easily fucked up. It's all suspect. It's all the same source. Can't have fresh and polluted water come from a spring. Everything comes out of the same toxic statue, the little box, green, magic people inside. They can look on Google and Wikipedia and all the other shit. They don't even reference books anymore. Nobody's read the encyclopedia or the dictionary. You can tell they didn't pay attention in class. They just read, dude, you come up with shit that three people come up with. It's like, wait, you're crazy. The book you read was made in the 60s when people started smoking weed, tripping balls, inventing things. Because they were trying to make some new culture. Instead, they fucking made a bunch of pseudo.
Bigfoot, Yetis, Loch Ness. You believe in the extraterrestrials? This
No,
no.
I don't think anything comes from outside because it's silly. Like, what would be the point? First off, the odds that anybody would send a signal to anywhere, let alone that the people that are out there would receive it at some point in time, comparable to the amount of travel time, vice versa, to where there'd be any kind of correlating matchup, either species would be extinct by the time the travel even occurred. So that's already probability one. But then you have to take into account that they're light years ahead in their technology to be able to even make kind of a journey to where they would survive. Otherwise, they'd have to take their whole civilization like Battlestar Galactica across the stars, keep reproducing along the way to even make it there. So it'd be like 7, 8 generations or more just to get to this planet. So that's highly unlikely. But then there's atmospheric issues. If their atmosphere is different, that means they've got a ship that's conditioned to their ship, a body that conditions to their ship. Yeah, they can wear gear, but they're traveling to some place of unknown atmosphere. Yeah, we might be able to tell them, hey, we've got an atmosphere made of oxygen and this molecular weight and that. It might not correspond there because the physical rules change, proximity to the sun, or there's so many factors you could throw in there that make it improbable. So technically, it is possible because all things are, but it's so highly improbable. it's more believable that there are beings that can cloak themselves within reality through interdimensional pockets or intangibility power, or maybe that's part of the curse. They can't be touched. They can wander through the world. They can walk through walls like ghosts. They can never experience any kind of sensation, smell, taste, touch.
So is your version like of extraterrestrials uh like spatial beings or non-spatial beings?
None. All these spaceships they show, like, why does it have standard running lights of red and green? If you got green and red lights on it, that's international fucking lighting shit, you know? Oh, the aliens thought ahead. They made their spacecraft and they followed our local civic codes. What thoughtful people, right? I mean, it would be cool if there was something out there like that, but honestly, we wouldn't be ready. Not with people like Joe Biden being allowed to fucking exist. People who think murdering babies is a good thing. People that believe there's overpopulation. Like, people are so dumb and gullible, they believe too many lies. Like, why would we get to be a part of anything bigger than what we are now? We can't even get fucking half the fucking public to admit that they're swindled. You know, like everybody gets tricked. It's okay. We all got tricked in some way or another. Fucking just accept it. Move on. See, that could be possible. Your spirit's just still roaming around until you get a new body from God.
What? The the
You say
aliens are
your beings that were here before us. But then it all goes back to Scientology with that, because the Xenu's keeping you prisoner. They were supposed to get reprocessed and get new bodies, so then it becomes Hinduism with the reincarnation, which is ridiculous and discounts our individuality because sentient energy, we're given a physical form that only corresponds with us. Nobody can ever Freaky Friday and jump in our body. It doesn't work that way. Your DNA is encoded to your sentient energy. You are the code that makes it happen. So the idea that there's people waiting to get new bodies and come back again, it's like, no, if anything, you would always be yourself. You'd come back as yourself somehow, but you would always be yourself. You could never be anything but, because that's the only way it's written. The fact that it's written in a code tells you it's fucking authored. And what's the author created? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
all these concepts and ideas we have all lead back to the same point. Something made us. And our purpose is clearly not to fucking have heroin addicts running around shitting in the streets. It's not to be out starting wars and bombing kids and moms because we don't like their stupid clothes or their shitty tasting music or whatever the fuck nasty food they eat or the other 100 reasons to look down on them. But, you know, they are who they are. Everybody's different.
We're talking
Yeah.
about aliens?
Oh, yeah, that's a different kind of alien. I was just thinking how they're flying in all the Afghanistan people without vetting them and letting them loose in our country so they can try to start some kind of shit, keep their military industrial complex bullshit running.
Right.
Nobody wants to fight with us.
Oh hell no.
They're like, why are we gonna fight? You're just gonna kill us all. Fuck you, we're done. And they're like, well, they don't know what to do with themselves. They're sitting there with their thumbs up their ass, like, Trump, Trump, Trump. Hey, Trump ain't doing shit, dude. All Trump can do is talk. He ain't got the power. He's Joe Nobody with a microphone.
No, yeah, that's crazy, man. Instead of having gun control, they should have like missile control. Like who's regulating these deadly
Well,
weapons?
they need to tell people what shit's for. It's entertainment. You entertain the idea. There's shit that adults are capable of processing and shit kids are capable of processing. If you're letting your kid process shit that's not rated for his age level, that's on you. If you're gonna let him watch shit that he might not be ready for, you need to sit there with him and explain it. Even if it's his level, you need to sit there and watch it with him and explain it and be like, yo, that's fucked up shit they're doing right there because they just showed you this and this. And that's wrong behavior. And the
Right.
kids learn right and wrong. That's what parenting is really about. It's not about here, sit down and watch this. It's like, no, let's sit here and watch this. You're gonna learn some shit. You're gonna learn human nature. You're gonna learn how to watch people and read their fucking facial expression. You're gonna watch their eye rate. You're gonna watch all these things that tell you they're a fucking lying piece of shit.
Hmm.
And even the people that know about all these things are like, oh, I'm aware of it. I control that. Yeah, but there's a tell for people that are controlling it too. Ha, fucking ha. Observation leads to intelligence. Same way taste, touch, and all the others do. It's just the most productive, quickest form of ascertaining things. You know, it's like the most tied into your primitive instincts. All of it. You see, you react. You see, you react. You're kind of stuck in that because the light's processed and the image is in your head before you've had a chance to digest it. So it's like, yeah, you have to learn to deal with that temporal causal lag because that's the only way reality happens, where you have actual intelligence versus programmed artificial intelligence, where bam, you push the button, there's the answer. It'd be neat to have God on the panel one night. Like, dude, ah, bring back dodo birds. I want to eat one of them motherfuckers.
I know, dude.
What
I've
else?
always
Yeah, I want to eat everything that was extinct. I want to try it. I want to have like a buffet of everything that ever existed. It's fucking, oh, some of this. They'll be like, if you try this thing, it's purple. And I'll be like, oh, that's where Grimace is from. Bam. Good time. And, God's make so you know that shit's going to be cooked just right. Like, however you want it, it's going to be that way. Every bite will be the perfect temperature. Not too dry, not too juicy. Sauce, that'll be a preference thing. And the music will be excellent.
you're you're saying I'm gonna sleep with some blondes.
Shit, you never know.
He's
I mean, the ideal heaven for everybody would be like their own individual reality where they were like next to God in line, but then they had their friends there and their loved ones, so it'd all kind of be the same exact thing, just without all the bullshit. We would kind of phase shift into this other reality where it's like, oh yeah, we don't have to wear that shirt anymore. It's done. So you throw the shirt away. You don't even think about it. You just leave it in the closet or throw it out the door. It just disappears. You don't worry about it. Kind of
like
like
that,
a dream. It'll
like
all
that
fade
Hooter
right away.
shirt. Like that Hooter
Hooters, yeah, the Hooters shirt faded, but then the cup comes back. So then where's
shirt.
that?
It's a concept. It's a concept.
It's crazy. Now I got to find somebody to give. I'll give the cup to somebody, and then I gotta, like, what other novelty will pop up out of nowhere? And then when you see that, everybody's gonna be like, "What?" I'll be like, "Yep, I even made a video of giving the cup away, so no one could say I held on to the cup. Fuck, I'll throw it against the rocks and break it just to prove the point. I won't fake the shit. It'll happen. You'll see. Once that cup's gone, I already foresee it. Somehow the kid's gonna break it because he loves taking cups, except the one I use. He won't take. He'll take every other cup. Gotta take an interesting. Ooh, I want to use this. And sure as shit, it'll get broken between him. I already know.
Sounds
Sorry,
like
Dave. I broke your Hooters cup, Dave. Get you another one. Like, no, I don't. But then someone will find like a hat or something like that and be like, hey, I found this Hooters hat. I thought you'd like it for your costume collection. And I'll just like sit down and I'll just start laughing and laughing. They'll be like, what? What's so funny? And then I'll have to sit down and I'll have to play the shit for him first. I'll be like, I'll tell you the story, but I'll tell you afterwards because you won't believe it otherwise. And then I'll show them this version of the story and they'll be like, oh my God. So does that mean I'm like being used by the God or the devil or what? Like, I don't know. But Hooters is involved somehow. It might be some kind of coven.
Oh, definitely. I it wasn't too long ago. I found out they had like their own little physical like bikini hooters or like a whole industry. But
It could be Bohemian Grove.
oh my gosh,
They're putting
it
the
could
outlet.
be for somebody, I guess, if you were a manager or owner.
Hi, I'm Moloch. Bow to me and burn your children.
The symbolism. Oh no.
Yes, yeah, it sounds like demonic possession, oppression. But that's not even that. That would be just influence, if anything. And is it real? A lot of what people consider mental illness is just, in fact, the opposite side of placebo effect. Placebo would be the positive effect. The diagnosis would be the negative effect. Even look at the word. What's gnosis? Knowledge. And dia. What is the? It's not God.
Yeah.
I need
Daya.
Ruben. He would
Daya.
know. Yeah. I don't sit there and look up shit. If I don't remember it, I wait till I recall. Like I don't cheat.
I know in the Greek there's a dia and there's a bolic. I know diabolic is like the separate, like to mean to separate or something like that.
Yeah, it's part of division. That's what I think it is. The dipole, division, direct. All of it means separated. So you're giving a separate knowledge, diagnosis, a divisive knowledge, divides you from your health. Well, the tests show that you got cancer. Does anybody ever go, really? Where? Let me see this shit. Show me exactly what the fuck you're talking about because I don't understand. I want to see numbers like if I'm growing a weed plant, I can pull up numbers based on the water test and tell you what's wrong with the shit. And you're super science guy. You got all these tests and shit for my body. You're reading these numbers. Well, tell me what they mean and how they're adjusted. What's my nutritional intake change to fix this? Why can't they tell you that? Nobody even asks. They just go, "Oh my God, what am I going to tell my family?" They instantly succumb to the madness, or they fucking fight it and go, "Nah, fuck this shit." And then the people that are kind of in between are the ones that fight it and beat it, just like with COVID or any other alleged disease. Careful, the flu's out there. You didn't get a flu shot. Yep, never will. Don't give a fuck. I'm healthy. And if I'm not, oh well. I'm the one paying the price. You're not going to come and suck my dick or make me chicken soup, so fuck you. I've made physical contact, and the being took on what looked like a fucking 12-foot anaconda, like an albino, but with yellow ultraviolet patterning to it. And I bumped into it about chest level and fell back. My first thought was, huh, that shouldn't have happened because that's not real. and it just kind of slithered back into this bush that wasn't that big, and it wasn't real, but it stopped me dead in my tracks. I made physical contact the same way it happens in the dream. It's solid, it's firmer than any fucking steel or table or rock I've ever punched. And my friend saw me. He saw how I hit, and he said, "What the fuck was that?" I was like, "You didn't see the snake?" And he just started laughing because we were, but he never shrooms like I do. I don't get goofy where I'm like, "Oh, look at that, look at that." I don't see shit like that. You can't see what isn't there. That's a rule of life, and that rule follows you into the fucking other realm too. You can only see what is there because that's the nature of light.
Was it like a lucid dream, or were you just like on shrooms?
We ate like half a cap a piece at that point. And it was some really, really high grade good shit. I don't know where the fuck they came from. Dude said they were some kind of Asian strain. They were black and white.
You're
Like,
talking about like caps, or you're talking about like an edible?
no, no, these are caps, dude. Like, they were ridiculous, crazy looking. Like, when I saw them, I was like, oh my God, these are like deadly. Because they were just like black and white. And we ate a cap while we were waiting for the dude to fucking get back with some weed. And we were already tripping balls at that point. We still had to drive a half hour back to the other city to get home. And then my other roommate was waiting too. So we had his shrooms. By the time we got back, he was like, "Man, I'm not even gonna eat them." We're like, "Fine, we're eating yours." So we fucking split his up and we just gobbled all of them. And then fucking as soon as we pulled in the driveway, like I couldn't get the key out of the shit. And I'm like, "It won't let me leave." And fucking there's some kind of button you had to push. So I was like, "Fuck it, I give up." I left the truck running and jumped out. And I was gonna go through the back gate. That's when I hit the shit. So he had the headlights on. He saw me clearly. He saw me fucking like get clotheslined basically and fall back from it. Yeah, but he didn't see the snake. But there's been all kinds of manifestations where people see fucking someone they'll start running across the crosswalk and disappear halfway through, and they
Mm.
see the exact same thing that I saw, and I'm like, "Did you see that?" And they're like, "Yeah, what the fuck was that about?" Like, exactly. Are we seeing a breakdown in dimensionality, or are we seeing the phase shift, or does it just shift here and there, like just part of some greater mechanism? Like it's beyond what we're allowed to know unless we can reason it out and find it out somehow. It does say if you seek knowledge, you'll find it. I wish I was a billionaire. I would sponsor like 20 kids to just sit around and get high and think of that shit. Be like, all right, figure it out. Just figure this problem. Yeah, there's some that do like the predator skin where they see them, but they're cloaked looking. But then there's some that are just outright able to. The mimicking of the color isn't really that major of a thing. It's the way they can become intangible, kind of like the Cheshire cat. That's the intriguing ability. Because you can sit still long enough anywhere, but especially a spiritual hotspot, you'll see some cool activity going on. Sit still. I've got quite a documented shit. My Instagram has all kinds of pictures of shit where there shouldn't be shit, faces, symbols, crazy shit, sky phenomena. I got lots of pictures of Tucson. Can't reset it. Then. Not there's to reset. They abandoned their tasks. They're just trying to hold on to power. It's kind of like the substitute teacher was here for a minute, and all the kids fucked around and played. They pulled pranks and acted up. Teacher's coming back. There will be a reckoning for all misdeeds that haven't been atoned for. That's why you're supposed to try to make peace with everybody while you can, before they die or before they die. Any of it. So that way there's no regrets. You don't have to worry about it. You can die peacefully and be like, yep, everybody forgave me and I forgave everybody. I tried my hardest. The only time you fail really is when you're lacking knowledge. Otherwise, you make the correct choice because you find that there's some way to do it cleanly, or at least most people do as they grow up. They grow out of petty theft, they grow out of this, they grow out of that. They wise up. Smoke one more cigarette. I'll call it. Alright, I don't have to go to sleep though. Maybe it'll be a mushroom party tomorrow. We'll see. We shall see. I don't know what. We're meant to go through the purifying fire. Word. I really am sad about my mask. Like I'll draw a bunch of shit, but then sometimes I'll draw one thing where I'm like, yeah, I like the way I did that. And that was one of those things that it looked right on my face. It was really, there's these really big giant blue eyes, and it was just awesome looking. And I don't know where it fell out of my pocket. Right, I feel your pain. I gotta wake up at 10:30 and re-up. I need more wax. I got plenty of bud though, but it's not the same. I've got one flavor, and that's not good enough. And it's my birthday week coming up, so I need to supply myself some more party favors. I could just have some. I don't know. There's no telling. That's how a planet would look. Change it up to a green and orange yellow sky. And then all the people that are like old and they become trees. That way they can stand around and be like, "You kids, be careful!" But then they're still making oxygen for everybody and being productive instead of like the elderly we have now, where they just walk around creating mischief, and shitting themselves. I think the blue people's deception is too convenient. Thank you. I do all kinds of artwork. Sometimes it has a theme to it. Well, it always has a theme. The message isn't always clear. And I make my own alphabets. So a lot of times there's words and you don't see that it's a word because you don't understand that there's alphabet there. But it's there. And I always put the alphabet out so that way some clever person can see it someday and be like, "Oh shit, that's really neat. I read this whole message hidden in a picture of a turtle." Because that was the concept they always tell you, picture's worth 1,000 words. So I thought, why not make 1,000 pictures? That makes it worth 1,000,000, which might not even be correct math, but I digress. What say you, Wolf? You? Money? Is you just statues? Statues don't talk. They hiss. Well, I bid thee adieu. God bless. And we'll see you tomorrow night. No certainty on the time. Till then, smoke them if you got. There's